when I grabbed you at the tournament, dude, I was like, yeah, you're 190, all right.
Well, or what did Carlos call me? He said he called me a Twinkie. It's kind of messed up.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 7 of the Simple Man Wrestling Podcast. We are going to be doing a recap of Doc Buchanan, the big tournament that just happened last Friday and Saturday. We'll start at 106, and we'll kind of go up through the weights. I'll share my screen here in just a moment. But welcome, guys. We'll kind of just go through and we'll talk about just our general thoughts about the tournament. Sean, you want to go first?
Yeah. As always, it's a great tournament. It's one of the best in the country. I think it's definitely the best on the West Coast. And it's run really well. They've been doing it. I think this was the 45th year, so 45th annual. So obviously with that many years, you kind of get the repetitions and the kinks worked out. For those who don't know or they've never been, it's a split gym. So they have one bigger gym, smaller gym. Smaller gym was, I want to say 60s and up.
I think 50, was it 50? No, 50,
Yeah.
the 60s and up?
60s and up in the small gym with 3 mats, and then the big gym had 6 mats with everyone else until day 2, and then it changes. But it's good. As a coach, it's kind of hectic. You're bouncing back and forth. It was packed. Day 1, I felt like, oh my God, I was like literally fighting to get through people to get to mats. I mean, it was insane. It was like every spot in the bleacher was full. Standing room was full. Like it was a madhouse day 1.
How many guys did Granite bring?
9.
That's a good number to bring.
Yeah.
We brought 5, so we had some gaps. And then for me, I just try to stay outside as much as possible.
Yeah. My problem is I get carried away. I start talking to a coach or a friend or an old teammate, and then next thing I know, my phone's going ding, 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 Matt, whatever. And I'm like, crap. And then I go do that, come back, start talking, ding, 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 go do this. I'm like, oh.
And Brady, obviously you weren't there because it's almost baby time, but I'm sure you watched some stuff online. What'd you think?
Yeah, obviously a little disappointed that I had to be home, but I think the experience was great because you still get to stream every mat, so that was pretty cool. I was definitely on my phone a lot throughout the weekend. Even I was at a local tournament down here, and one of the coaches is like, "Oh man, what was life before phones?" I'm like, "Hey man, I got guys wrestling. I gotta watch." And so I was a little sidetracked there, but I think overall it was a really good tournament. I think the Doc Buchanan is up there with at least the top 3 in-season tournaments in the country. I would say Ironman, Beast of the East, or Powerade, and then Doc Buchanan. There's no questions. I think the only criticism I would have, and maybe the Clovis coaches, maybe Tirapelli will hop on here and listen one time, but I think the final streaming could be a little better. The camera was like, I don't know, 50 feet from the mat, maybe, with that Iowa size mat that they use for the finals. And then I don't know. I think the production value could be a little better for the finals. But I mean, other than that, I think it was pretty good.
So I'll say this about that, and I agree. I went and watched some of the finals today on my phone and on my computer. It wasn't terrible, but I know what you mean. Like they could definitely do a better job. This is what kind of bothered me. Well, not bothered me, but surprised me, I guess, was I didn't see any Flow Sports guys there. 0.
Well, Brian was there.
Who?
This guy named Brian. I don't remember his last name, but he's my buddy. Him and Oren, they announced the finals last year.
Okay, I know.
He's the only guy. He's just the West Coast Flow guy.
Yeah, it was just Brian. He does the California State, but Oren's normally there. He wasn't there.
Yeah,
well, Oren's in Vegas.
Oren moved out of state. Oren did hit me up though. He was watching. I'm sure he would have liked to have been there, but yeah, it just kind of was. I was looking on Flow like throughout the day. There was no clips, updates, anything about any upsets or anything really posted. Not at all. So
it sounds like there's a market for California wrestling.
After all the nationally ranked upsets this weekend, I think you got a point there, Brian.
Well, I think you got better video editing skills than I do. So bust out the camera next time.
I'm tapped out on jobs at the moment. I got a lot going on.
You're so busy, Sean. You are so busy.
Yeah.
Never mind. Dude, so my thoughts. So for one, the finals. So I know during the coaches meeting, I think one of the complaints, maybe from last year, is that the lights like weren't bright enough or something, and it made it hard for filming, or sorry, not filming, for photography. So they addressed that. The one of the thing during the streaming, and I don't know if you guys noticed it seemed like it was really bright. So not only was the camera far away, but it was bright. It was kind of hard for me to see. I want to say it was shoot, I forgot who was wrestling who, but they both had like 2 white singlets on. And I was like, dude, it is so bright, man.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So their lights were adjustable. Are you talking about during the finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just,
Yeah. So
yeah,
they would
like,
dim the lights. This is what they were doing. They were dimming the lights, doing the intro, and then when the match was started, they would put them back to a certain brightness. It must have been some kind of it wasn't just a light switch like on and off. It was a setting that they were putting it to, because sometimes when they came back on or brought the brightness back, it was brighter than the previous
Yeah.
match. And like during one match, the crowd actually, I don't remember which match, but the crowd started to boo because they were like really bright. So then they dimmed it down a little bit. But then yes, as other matches were continuing and going on, and the brightness was changing, it wasn't consistent. And I mean I'm sure that's hard to do. You have to find that perfect spot on a dial, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they could figure something out.
my second gripe about the tournament is, I am what I eat. I'm a snack. I like snacks. I like to eat. And I think the coaches, whatever, lunch was like an hour space. There was you had like an hour pretty much to go in, and I know they had food donated. So there's only a limited amount, but kind of like what you said, like if you're coaching a lot, you're not gonna have time to go in, and that's kind of been the thing, I think, at a lot of tournaments. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal.
It was good. I had it. It was good.
You had it? Yeah.
Oh, it was
You
bomb.
did.
It was
Bet
like
you were
this
the first to
rice.
have it.
It was like rice with like this meat and green beans on top. It was bomb. And then like a
Nice.
tri-tip
Congratulations.
or something like that. Yeah, it was good.
And then the third thing, I'm not sure if there was an intent behind it, but I'm sure we've seen there's people that have service animals. There's coaches that have service animals, and there was an email that was sent out saying no service animals, and you need to make plans. It was like very specific. It felt like a Key and Peele skit. Like it kind of just starts and it just like keeps going and gets really specific. But it's like, you can't stress this enough, and like, don't bring your dog, because when we don't let you in because you didn't read the email, it's going to be a problem for you and you're going to have to deal with it during the tournament. So just don't bring your dog. I was glad to see that there was a service animal that still made it in, because I actually really like that dog. I think it's cute. So I wonder what happened with that.
We can't skip over this. What information did you guys discover about the 2 DQs that happened in the bracket?
Oh, okay.
That's a spicy
All
one.
right. So this is what I heard, because one of my sources has a son that's competing at one of the weights. So the one DQ, the heavier weight DQ, I heard there was some funny business with some stuff that was going on in the bathroom.
Okay.
I don't know about the other DQ though.
Okay, so I had an athlete who ended up getting through the round of 12 due to that DQ, and I had no idea about it, right? Like I saw the DQ on the bracket in the championship round, and I was like, what the heck? But I looked at it right around the time that match would have happened, right? So I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, this kid got DQ'd for something that happened in the match. And then I go to the bottom side of the bracket where my athlete was battling back, and I was like, oh crap, now we have to wrestle that kid that got DQ'd. And then all of a sudden, Flow Wrestling or whatever, or Flow Arena, like reload, and my kid had advanced already. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, this kid's DQ'd out of the tournament? Like, what happened? And we get back to the hotel. I've got all my kids, getting them fed and ready for day 2. And I'm like, did you guys hear about what happened in this DQ? And they're like, hey, coach, what we heard was that the kids were all, smoking in the bathroom, and they got caught by someone, right? They didn't know who. And I was like, I don't know if I believe this. Like, kids make up funny stories or they hear things and they lie. And so I go on the California Wrestler Facebook page, and someone was already talking about it, and it was the same pretty much answers. Someone said they got caught smoking weed or vaping, one or the other, in the bathroom, and it was the 82 pounder Thompson and is it Robinson, the 26 pounder?
They're not from the same school, right?
No, but they're both from Illinois.
Illinois.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how accurate that is. I really don't.
I heard it was the Clovis principal.
That's also what someone wrote.
Dude.
Yeah, that's also what someone wrote in there. So I don't know if anyone's in the California Wrestler Facebook page. It's pretty funny. Go look at it because there's a lot of like memes getting tossed in there about Illinois kids between matches, and it's freaking Snoop Dogg with a giant blunt in his hand. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
2 1 seeds go down.
Yeah, if I was
the
their
smoke.
coach,
They wanted that smoke and they got it.
I would be so upset if I was if that was one of my athletes. I'd be very.
To be honest, they would miss probably half their season, and since we're halfway through the season, they would miss the rest of their season.
Fair enough.
I think that's
you're ranked number 1 in the country. Sorry, bud, you're gonna miss half your season.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't imagine a college likes that a lot.
No.
It depends on how good you are.
They're both committed.
Where are they committed to, Brian? Or
one's Iowa and one's Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State for Thompson and NC State for both the Robinson brothers.
Ooh.
They're brothers?
They're brothers, and they both won the Powerade last week.
So they're brothers, but they're at different schools.
No, the brothers are at the same school. There's a 45 pounder and a 26 pounder, and then the 82 pounder is from a different school, but they're all but only the 45 pounder brother, he didn't get DQ'd. So he must have been not in the monkey business.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Interesting. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started breaking down this tournament. Let's go ahead and start at 106. So I'll share my screen here. Let's pull up this bracket. 106. All right, so it kind of pretty much went according to seeds, I think, for the most part. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And you guys can chime in when you feel like it. Sean, obviously your guy was the second seed. Sean Brady, you guys were the second seed. I saw you guys sprinting between matches. I mean, he had a pretty good semis win. Thunder Lewis is a tough kid. Sean, you were probably in the corner. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. We had a tough road. I don't know. I got my bracket up too. We had a tough road. I mean, we ran into Quiones, who was unseeded from Pomona. He placed at Reno, a couple weeks back up at 13s. I mean, he's a tough kid. Then we ran into Braun, who is a really tough freshman out of Bergen Catholic. Very if anyone watches that quarterfinal match between Klein and Braun, I thought Braun's shoulder was literally getting ripped from his body because he's so flexible. He's just one of those kids that can bend. But he ended up battling back to take, I want to say he took fourth. Yeah. So he battles back. So Klein wrestles the guy who takes fourth in the quarters. Then we get that semis win over Lewis, who I don't know if anyone, well, of course, if you've never been to Doc B, you don't know, but when the semis go, it's mats 1, 2, and 3. And through the middle of the gym, and they put every Clovis guy on that one, and then they put the stands pre-filled with Clovis fans, like wrestlers and family, right there in front of mat 1. So you're not only like right in front of their entire fan section, but it's loud. They got their kids stomping their feet in the stands. It gets pretty intense. And more power to them. Home field advantage. They're hosting the tournament. I mean, throw some more adversity at our guys, but yeah, it was a good win, 3-2 win. It was gutsy, third period ride out. So it was good. And then obviously the finals didn't go our way, but that's okay. Keep back to the drawing board, making adjustments, and we'll get back to it.
One of the other upsets I see, like Mount Goza's path from Kingsburg, he beats Benavides, and Benavides is a tough freshman from Bakersfield. And then he takes out the younger Bobsian from Poway. Again, another close match. Then he has a close match with Lewis as well. I think just seeing like both, like everyone's path here is pretty competitive and pretty tough. Unless you're super dominant. Like even just, your guys, like he's got a Bigsby kid first round, and that kid was probably tough. Then he's got, like you said, the Pomona, and then he's got Bergen Catholic, and then he's got Clovis, and then he's wrestling Zinken in the finals.
Yeah. It wasn't a ideal draw. I will say I'll have to go back and watch it because I haven't got a chance to review too many matches that I didn't see in person, but I did not see the opposite semi, Zinken and Wilcox from St. John Bosco. That match happened in the semis last week at the Sonora TOC, and it was super close. Wilcox ended up losing last second on a locked hands call, was basically on top. I think gets into a front headlock position. And I believe Brady, correct me if I'm wrong, he went chest wrap from the front head.
It was kind of a scramble position there on the edge of the mat. He was still on top, and Zinken turned into an Iranian, and he went just kind of abyss lock there around try to trap the arm, but you can't lock hands when you're still on top. So he went.
So it was a 1-point match, came down to the final second. And then later I learned Rockland beats him 7-1. So obviously, wasn't that close of a match based off the score. So I'll have to go back and watch that one because
I watched that one. It seems like he definitely kind of scouted a little bit and obviously worked off what he felt last week. He definitely jumped out to a good start versus last week. I think he was down like 5-1 and ended up coming back to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
This match, he jumped out to an early lead and kind of just kept building off of it. Another kid that I've been watching since he was pretty little at some kids tournaments is this Sadu kid. Ended up taking 5th from Del Oro. He's tough. He avenged his quarterfinal loss coming back for 5th and 6th to Wilcox. So that's a good one. That kid will get a nice bump in the California rankings.
You wrestled him on the backside?
If they actually wrestled for 5th and 6th.
They did. He did. I got the state ranking.
There you go.
Well. Looks like Sadu is currently ranked 13, and he's a freshman at 106.
Nice.
He's a stud. So he'll get a bump with that win over Wilcox, obviously, and then Castillo sneaking in there, another Central section kid.
Yeah, Central's tough, man. Central's got a good team.
They do. That 45-pounder there's pretty tough too. I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
All
right, you guys ready to move on?
Let's do it.
All right, 116. The 1 seed here was I don't know how to pronounce that last name from Blackfoot. Pronounce it?
Mauger.
Mac
Mauger.
The Mauler.
That match right there was the talk of the first day.
Which one?
Mauger and Besmer from Buchanan. Besmer jumps out to, I want to say, a 5-1 lead.
First round.
Yeah, gets out to.
Dude, I can't believe Besmer. That's a tough draw first round. Besmer's tough.
Yeah, I think every draw in this tournament was pretty tough. This tournament was loaded. A majority of California's top 10 ranked wrestlers were in every weight. You had guys like Mauger and the Robinson brothers that were ranked in the nation, and Dalton ranked in the nation. There's tons of guys, coming from out of state that were solid quality guys, and they're pulling top 10 ranked California guys first round. That ain't easy.
Yeah, this weight's a good one because last year's 106 final was Mauger versus the Navarro. So this weight's 3rd and 6th place finishers were the finals last year at 106.
I did not know that, Brady.
Yeah, it was a good match. I think Mauger got the best of them in the finals last year. But I do remember they wrestled in the finals. It was all Idaho.
So Navarro returns as a finalist and gets the 10 seed. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a loaded weight right there. I'm sure Rodriguez is another kid. He's a freshman. He's definitely going to be getting a national ranking after this tournament, along with obviously Moses Mendoza's up there too. So,
well, if you look at the 3 seed, got upset first round
So that's funny.
He's
I
a
didn't even
kid
know that
from,
kid. That's from
huh?
that's another kid from that's that Illinois school. Same school as Robinson's.
Vigil.
Yeah, Flossmoor. It's called Flossmoor something is the
Oh,
school.
the kid that got upset.
Yeah, the 3 seed.
Yeah, he didn't even end up placing. We'll have to see what happened on the backside.
Crazy.
And the 2 seed.
I really like what Les Gaddis has been doing, man. I mean, they have a lot of young, scrappy kids, pretty good fundamentals. We see the 6 seed here make it to the finals. Again, pretty impressive.
Yeah, you also had Ronnie Ramirez get upset pretty early. I think it was round 2 or 3.
Was it quarters?
No, round of 16, he loses to Paris Ruiz from Buchanan at 5-1 score. And
Who did he lose to on the backside? Did he default?
he defaulted.
Uh,
Refer to our last episode for our opinion on that. And I found the 3 seed Johnson. He ended up losing Consi round of 32 to a 2-1 score to a kid from Hawaii, Logan Lau.
wow.
I didn't know Hawaii was out there.
Yeah, we had
Hot
there's
team.
a couple kids from Hawaii. Singleton, Gage Singleton didn't place. That kid's tough.
He's been in and out of the national rankings too.
Yeah. Rivera from Clovis, top 10 guy in the state, didn't place. God.
Vigil, this kid Vigil from Prairie View, Colorado, unseeded placer.
Yep.
Yeah.
As well as Rivera from Layton, Utah.
Where's Silva at? He was, I think, unseeded as well.
Yeah,
From Calvary.
From Calvary, he's a pretty tough freshman.
Yeah, this was a loaded weight, super loaded weight.
Shoot, that might have been one of the deepest weights I think in the tournament. As far as you have two returning finalists that didn't even make the final.
Well,
Right.
even just looking at this whole tournament in general, like, I mean, you have a lot of really tough kids, even just in the first couple rounds of championship.
Yeah. I mean, you got Jaden Wren and Edwin Sierra first round. That's 2 top 10 guys in the state, round 1.
Yeah, that was an absurd weight. Yeah, we'll have to, as we go through, that might be the deepest, but we'll have to come back to the end.
Let's do it.
Let's move on to 23s here.
So at 23, we have a returning state champ, Quintero from El Dorado as the 1 seed. He eventually gets upset by Nikkei Zinkin in the semis. I didn't get a chance to watch that one. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, I was standing Matt's side for it. It was insane.
What happened?
So what I had mentioned earlier, any Clovis guy that wrestles in the semis, they get put on the mat right in front of their section. That one was loud, battling, super crazy. It was 1-1 into overtime. I want to say it went to rideouts, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say Quintero was on bottom, one of them tried to basically cartwheel out of a tripod, and I can't remember if it was Zinkin cartwheeling or Quintero cartwheeling, but at the conclusion of the cartwheel, Quintero's on his back and Zinkin's getting near fall. So I think actually Zinkin was on bottom. That would make more sense because he got a 2 reversal and a 3 near fall for 5 points to go up 6-1. So that would make sense.
Zinkin hits that cartwheel where he'll take like his inside hand or the hand the arm that's closest to the guy, especially when they're doing like a spiral ride, and it'll lock at the knee, and then he'll face and do a cartwheel that way and try to hip over.
That might have been it. I haven't rewatched it. Just in the moment, kind of just saw legs flying, and then Quintero on his back right in front of me, and I was like, "No way, this is happening."
So interesting is they actually wrestled last year, I want to say, in the quarterfinals, and the same result, except I think he pinned him.
Yeah, and then Quintero injury defaulted out because he was hurt.
Yeah, that was at 106 last year. I want to say it was a quarterfinal because Zinkin didn't make the finals. So I remember it was a heated match, same thing. Zinkin was winning, and then I think Quintero ended up kind of taking an injury time, came back, and then I think he got caught on his back, same thing in like a scramble position, got pinned, and then defaulted out. So that's 2 years in a row. Zinkin's seems to maybe have a little edge over Quintero. we'll see.
Did they face at state last year or no?
I don't know. That's a
Quintero was the 4, wasn't he? And Cortez was the 1
Yeah.
at state.
Let me see.
While he's looking that up, so Nikkei moves forward, and then he's met by Isaiah Cortez from Gilroy, who was the 2 seed. He ran through a lot of tough guys to get there. He beats a tough Slam Academy kid in the round of 16, and then Carrillo from St. John Bosco in the quarterfinals. Then Harris Jr. from Buchanan in the semis, and then gets to that finals match where he put on a good show. He ends up beating Nikkei 7-0, and in Clovis's home gym, it was eerie quiet, I guess you could say. It was an interesting thing to watch. He sucked the life out of that crowd, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. So last year it was the 1 seed was Cortez, Isaiah Cortez. 4 seed was Quintero. He takes him out in the semis. And then on the other side, Ramirez ended up taking out Zinkin in the quarters. And then he ended up making the final. So it was Quintero, Ramirez final. Quintero coming out on top of that one.
Yeah.
They didn't run into each other.
Interesting thing about Gilroy that I saw Friday morning is they show up with maybe 20, 25 minutes left in the warm-up. I don't know if you noticed that, Sean.
I did. Yeah, they hit their warm-up pretty much the last, you're right, 20.
They all came in or scrambling to get their shoes on. Wonder maybe they went to Denny's or something and had breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they've got some secrets that, to the method to their madness, as some say, but seemed to be working because they went, 2 for 3, I think, in the finals, and they looked really good all weekend.
Yeah.
Go on to 129s.
I really liked the way Luna's been wrestling. Him and his, I think there might be 3 Luna brothers. But they've been wrestling pretty tough. So we have the 9 seed taking out Navita from Poway in the round 16, and then taking out the 1 seed Robinson in the quarterfinals here. And then again, it kind of just blazes the trail. He beats out the other Cortez brother and then ultimately loses in the finals.
Yeah, that quarterfinal match was the DQ we were talking about earlier. So
yeah.
Luna gets the DQ over Robinson, which would have been a fun match to see, I think. I watched Luna, and he before this tournament was ranked up at 32s, and then makes the descent down to 26s, which is really 29s with the 2-pound weight allowance and the additional pound for Doc B. So he makes the way down, and he looks huge. I mean, for a 29-pounder, I'm like, Jesus, this guy's massive. But yeah, he looks sharp, very good fundamentally. Obviously he has some power to him, and Cortez is no slouch himself. So he's a stud, but then he meets Toscano, and Toscano's another animal right now.
Yeah, pretty impressed with Buchanan's freshman right now. I mean, obviously they have Rockland Zinkin win it, and then Toscano. And then they've had, I think, Rocha. Rocha, I think, ended up placing at one of the heavier weights. But I'm pretty impressed with how their freshmen have been wrestling.
Yeah, they definitely got some stud freshmen. I think he placed at 82s. Was Rocha.
Yeah, we had a returning California State finalist, Richard Murillo, at this weight. He was the 3 seed. A lot of talk that I was reading on some wrestling media pages about how he's underrated. He's tougher than people think. He, he's going to make a big name for himself this weekend. Well, I think that all that talk wasn't so much in his favor, because he ended up losing 7-5 in the round of 16 to Cardenas from Pomona, who's the little brother of
Jacob.
Jake, what's his first name? The
the other one. Oh gosh, I don't know. He's at Stanford.
Yeah, his older brother won Doc B last year and is now at Stanford doing a pretty good job on the college circuit. But yeah, so losing to him 7-5, but then trailblazes through the backside, ends up taking 6. So loses early, still gets on the podium. That's good. The Pomona kid didn't even make the podium. And then I had a wrestler, Jason Suedos, JJ Suedos, ends up taking 8th place. So this real good tournament for him. He had all the hard matches and got on the podium. So job well done.
How old is he?
He's a junior.
He's a junior.
Yep. Last year was a state qualifier up at 38s. Kind of wrestling up there due to some lineup. Couldn't get in lineup at certain weights, so had to kind of get a little bit bigger, and due to some people growing and some movement happening on the team, he's gets down to his more natural preferred weight class, and he's doing real well, wrestling really tough. Beat a really tough kid, Camarillo, Requena, 3-1. That was a good match. Beat a Rancho Bernardo kid who's pretty tough, and another couple other kids that were real tough. And so, yeah, he wrestled Murillo from Canyon Springs on the backside. I think it was like 3-2 with 30 seconds left. Tries to get a takedown, gets scored on. So 5-2 match to the number one guy in the state at that, as of right now until rankings change. But
yeah,
he's wrestling real tough right now. I'm excited for him.
Nice.
35s.
So actually, I haven't really been following a lot with this weight. I think it's interesting seeing a guy that wins a college tournament, not make the finals at this tournament. But I think it just kind of to show you there's the level of high school wrestling and how it's kind of evolved. And of course, I'm talking about Aiden Valencia getting beat by Zepeda in the semis. I mean, Zepeda's not a slouch. I mean, he's tough. It's just it's interesting seeing, like I said, a guy that wins a college tournament.
Yeah, he took out an All-American at that college tournament too.
Mm-hmm.
Ravon Foley, I think he beat him in the semis or something. I want to say maybe the finals. No, but that Zepeda Valencia semi was a pretty good one. If you guys haven't got a chance, go back and watch that one. There's a lot of good scrambles, a lot of good wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy match. The atmosphere was nuts for it. I didn't see the final takedown. I did see, both guys getting up, going back to center to start overtime. But I think I had to go coach, so I missed the takedown. So that's one I'll have to go back and watch. But I just remember hearing the crowd. I mean, 3 mats of semis are going on, but I would say 90% of the crowd was hyper focused on that match just because obviously Aiden is, with the college tournament and the hype around him, there's a lot of attention there. But yeah, it was a good bracket. I mean, you had Zepeda and Bowder from Clovis North in the quarters. Those are 2 tough guys. Cisco and Aiden below that. And then Knox is a out-of-state guy from Massachusetts, from St. John's Prep, who's really tough, well-known along the wrestling community. So he ends up getting the 5-4 win over Zepeda. It was pretty close. And then he shouts out something at the end of the match that probably not a lot of people liked. So he got a little bit of some fan love from the crowd, but it was fun.
What did he say?
I want to say he was like, "That's what I'm effing talking about," or something like that. But it was like dead quiet when he said it, so everyone in the crowd heard. And because I think people were rooting for, everyone wants the Cali kid to win,
Yep.
So I felt like people were cheering for Zepeda, and it was fairly close. I mean, I was kind of thinking Knox was going to pull away, and he didn't. So it was fairly close win, and crowd was getting a little bit on Zepeda's side, getting a little bit, antsy, and then Knox gets the win and does his shout right as the breath of the crowd goes out, and it was so quiet. I heard it I wasn't even close to the mat, and I heard it clear as day. So, it was fun. So yeah, it was good.
I mean, I like it when that passion kind of comes out from a kid like that. I mean, obviously you don't want to swear, you know.
Yeah, right.
But I think that's
I agree.
entertaining.
I agree. And the ref, from what I remember, was he didn't give a misconduct or anything. And I mean, I'm fine with that. You know, it's not like he was cussing at the kid or cussing at the crowd. Like, it was more of like he was just emotional, you know, and obviously for him, it's a big moment, whether we like it or not. As you know, Cali fans, the kid came out from the East Coast to the West Coast and won our toughest tournament that we could provide him. So, kind of got to tip your hat to that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got to tip your cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat. That's right.
You have to have a cowboy hat first
You do.
before you can tip it.
Got to give a shout out to our boy Christian Herrera from BHS, Bakersfield High School, taking 7th from unseeded. He had to really battle to get there. Went through some really tough dudes.
Where's his path?
Tell me who he loses to on the champ side, because I'm looking at the con side and he went off.
I'm trying to find his first round match.
He lost to
he loses first round. 1, 2, 3.
He lost to Reese.
4.
Was that Regis Jesuit? Is that what that is?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so he wrestles that kid and then drops down first round cons and basically rattles off 5 wins in a row to get to the placing matches, and then fell to a tough Bigsby, Oklahoma kid, Jace Cavanis, 6'4", to fall down to the 7th, 8th place match where he wrestles Cisco Cabrera and majors him 15-5. Cabrera being a returning state medalist and Herrera a round of 12 last year.
What's Cabrera ranked right now?
I want to say Cabrera is,
I think he's top 5.
yeah, he's not ranked at 26s. I think he's ranked at 32s. 7th at 32s. And Christian's 12th at 32s.
Dude, BHS, I mean, don't sleep on him right now.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
I hate saying it. I mean, I'm happy as hell for Adam and Matt and Varner and Lomas and those guys, because you know, they're my friends. But it's gonna be a pretty big deal when we beat them in 2 years, because they're such a good team.
That's funny. All right, moving on to 141. Let's see.
All right, so we got the younger Mantanona. Kind of rolls through. I didn't watch his semis match against Roller, but Roller obviously being a big name in the wrestling world. Is his dad Shane? His dad's not Shane Roller, right?
Yeah,
that's his dad.
That's what I heard. I was listening to, obviously they dueled Gilroy like 2 nights before, and Shane Roller's obviously from Oklahoma State, I believe, right?
Yeah, Roller wrestler at Oklahoma State, and then the head coach right now at Bixby, Ray Blake, doing a good job. He wrestled at Stanford. Pretty cool guy. Got a chance to catch up with him a little bit just because I know him from just obviously wrestling against Stanford, and then I used to go to their camps a lot when I was in high school, so it was kind of cool catching up with him.
Yeah, so I believe that's his dad, because I was listening to the broadcast. It was Nick Piccinini and Kyle Crutchmer were the commentators for that duel. Nice. And they were talking about that. I mean, that's what they mentioned in there. So I got to take for what they say.
That's kind of a cool couple of commentators, and that Oklahoma State connection is pretty cool. The Oklahoma State kind of MMA connections, pretty cool.
For sure.
I think biggest thing I noticed in this weight is Dario Lemus is going to be a problem. He's fun to watch. Yes, he didn't walk away with a cowboy hat, but I watched the entire 6 minutes of him and Grigor battling it out in the semis, and Dario puts up a 16-7 major. And I'm a big Grigor fan. I think Grigor is very talented. Stanford commit. Dario, who's a Maryland Go Terps commit, just freaking took it to him, beat him up, you know, taking him down. That was a statement win. Dario was a state finalist last year, came up short to the smaller Joffrey brother who's now at Virginia. And yeah, he wants a state title before he goes to Maryland because he was on one. And then even in the finals, he wrestles a very tough Brock Mantanona, Michigan commit, returning state champ. And Brock kind of gets a little funky with him in the beginning, getting to his offense, and Dario was having a hard time with it. But I think as the match picked up, Dario started to figure out a way to score and started to take it to Mantanona. I want to say he got 2, maybe 3 takedowns and was just cutting Brock, trying to go for more. Ultimately just ran out of time and was too much of a deficit before the match expired. But yeah, that'll be a fun one to see run back down the road, whether it happens at state or not. That'd be a fun rematch, I think.
I think one of the things we got to give Lemus and possibly obviously the Clovis coaching staff is, they're very good at game planning. I think making adjustments for matches. If you look at when Lemus wrestled one of the Joffreys last year, I think the first time they wrestled, it was kind of the big gap. And then every single time they wrestled, it just got closer and closer. So I think he's not going to have as many opportunities to wrestle Brock Mantanona. So we'll see what kind of adjustments can be made. But, I think obviously I think the best Lemus we're going to see is going to be at the state tournament.
Yeah. I did get to watch the roller and Mantanona semi. That was a close one. It was not a dominant 3-1 win. It was kind of came down to, I want to say it was either overtime or like a late third period takedown that won it for him. He was obviously pretty jacked up when he won that. And then I watched the Grigor Lemus. I thought that match was going to be I was like super hyped. I'm like, this is one of the best semis, I think, in my opinion, in the tournament. And Lemus put it on him. I think I texted you, Sean, and was like, yikes. Like Lemus wants that title. I think that's what I said. He's coming for that state title.
Yeah. But, and then Grigor beats Roller for third, fourth. Beats 3-1. So like
Grigor's tough. I mean, he took third at Super 32 at a loaded weight over the summer, over in the fall. So he's definitely he's highly ranked, and to see Lemus put it on him, and then in the finals, I think Mantanona obviously just kind of outfunked him a little bit, but he seemed to find his groove there in the third with about a minute left. I think he got 2 takedowns, but at that point, I think Mantanona was just kind of sitting on his lead. So
talking about guys earlier like that are overlooked in California, Dario is one of mine. State finalist last year. Yeah, he was really good. He was in Docby finals also. But after watching him this weekend, I was like, this dude's gonna be a problem, for a lot of people.
Has he wrestled at any of the bigger tournaments like Fargo or Super 32?
He did last year. So 2021 or whatever. He was a medalist. I want to say he took 6th or 7th.
I want to say he was at Fargo this last year.
He was, but he didn't have a good performance.
He didn't have a good performance. He took 4th at Super 32 in 2021 at 132. Took 5th in state in 2020. Obviously the year after that was COVID. And then last year, our first year back wrestling full time, he took 2nd. Kid's good. It's gonna be Maryland got a good one. Super excited to watch him go over there and wrestle the Big Ten. That should be fun to watch.
Moving on.
All right, next weight. I think for California, just looking at, these 2 finalists, not taking anything away from them, but I definitely feel like this weight is really kind of anybody's weight in the state right now.
Yeah.
Does anyone know why Max Martinez forfeited?
I don't know.
He forfeited out of the quarters. I have no idea why. I didn't hear about that one, at least.
He did wrestle on the backside.
No,
he was done.
No,
I don't know. It's not injury forfeit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was a weight thing.
Yeah, but quarterfinals were at the end of day
4. That would make sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's got to be an injury more than likely. If so, we hope he gets healthy and gets better. But he definitely was a guy I would have penciled in on the podium.
Yeah, I think at first glance at this weight, I was kind of shocked at the seeds, honestly. Some of them, like for instance,
Ford and
Parco.
Giddens 5'4".
Well, Parco was the 1 seed, which no shade on Parco. That the kid's a stud and he proved it at in winning. But I mean, he was only what, a 7th or 8th placer last year at state, and I think Robinson's like a nationally ranked guy, placed at all these high tournaments, which I don't think Parco has been to. So like I said, no shade on him, but just seeding wise, I was kind of thrown off by that because I think the seeds at every other weight was pretty good. So
Yeah, it's weird, and to go Ford from Bergen Catholic 5, and then Giddens Buchanan from Bixby, Oklahoma 4. Me personally, from a fan's perspective, I guess I don't know if this is selfish or not. I'm fine with having Parco and Robinson 1 or 2 or 2 and 1. It doesn't matter, but split Ford and Giddens up so that they are 3-4. Instead of having 2 Cali guys meet 3-6 and 2 out-of-state guys meet 5-4, swap some so we get some matchups that you're not going to normally see.
mm-hmm. Did you guys get a chance to watch the semifinal between Priest and Robinson?
I did not. I was coaching, so
I didn't see that. Well, actually, I think I did, dude. Yeah, because I saw the score. I'm like, dude, that's 29. That's almost damn near 30 points. Those guys are going back and forth. Those guys are going back and forth pretty hard.
That's one I got to go back and watch because I'm just hearing wrestling people talk. They're like, that's one of the best matches I've seen. Like, you got to go back and watch that. Like, so I got to go check that one out.
Yeah, it was almost like nonstop. Like they both just were wrestling pretty hard.
Priest the gamer though. He's gonna be a fun one to watch. Like you said, I think 45s is up in the air at state. You got Martinez, Priest, Alexander's tough. Obviously Parco's won it, and I'm sure there's a couple kids that aren't even in there. Oh, Antonio from St. John Bosco is a good kid. He had a close match with Priest, 11-9. So this is a good 3 or 4 or 5 guys deep to win state for sure.
Yeah, both Bo and his twin brother Braden. I mean, they're only sophomores. Bo actually was coming along, late in the postseason last year. Had a win over Chemo from Selma. I want to say it was at Masters, and kind of just didn't really. I don't know if it was just the state tournament or what, but he ended up, I think, going 1 and 2 at the state tournament.
So he went 1 and 2 at the state tournament, and then later in the summer takes 7th at Cadet Fargo freestyle.
Yeah,
he's tough. He looked really good this weekend. Kind of going back to what BHS is doing. They're doing a good job. They're building some studs, so it's gonna be fun to watch them in a couple of years.
Yeah, I think and we can talk about this obviously at a later point. We'll talk to Adam and maybe see, but maybe you guys can come up and we'll have a 3-way duel.
We'd love that. No, we're always trying to get duels, so I think we'd always be down for that.
For sure.
All right, 52s.
All right. I mean, this is an interesting weight. I mean, obviously they were missing, the best wrestler in the state at this weight. But I mean, I don't know what. So I watched the finals match between Colin and Bo. I mean, obviously, you guys. I mean, Sean, you were in the corner, and Brady, you were watching. I mean, I watched this one live. I tuned in on the stream and I watched it live. I made a point of watching it live. It seems like Guffey kind of just wasn't really able to get his offense going, and Bo was just able to just get in on the legs. And, Guffey was able to scramble a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. I think Bo kind of just kept getting to his offense.
Yeah, Boza. I mean, everyone knows this. I think across the country, Bo's, and his brother are some of the best scramblers in the country. Guffey is a pretty good scrambler himself. He had Dalton from Pueblo East, Weston Dalton from Pueblo East, Colorado, in the semis. They go into overtime to rideouts and turns into a scramble, and Guffey turns the scramble into a ball and chain tilt and gets 2 near fall. And it was like, I didn't even see it as a coach. I'm watching and I'm like, all right, we're okay. We're scrambling. And all of a sudden he has this ball and chain tilt over for near fall. And I'm like, I couldn't have even told him to do that because I didn't see it myself. He just something he must have felt and did. So the kid can scramble pretty damn good. And Dalton's ranked 5th in the country currently. But
I was on the camera side, and it looked like Guffey was going to be in danger. I think Dalton was trying to get a defensive pin when he was on bottom, and maybe tried to get a little too greedy. Instead of just trying to get his out or trying to get a reversal or something, he kept trying to put Colin in danger. And then when Colin rolled him through, Dalton was hanging on the leg.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of held him for a 2 count and got near fall.
Yeah, it was nuts. It happened really fast. And then we choose bottom for the second half of the ride outs, and Dalton tries to force a leg turn and gets reversed. So great win for Colin. And we got to wrestle Bo. That was his first time wrestling Bo. And I don't think it'll be the last. So we look forward to it again. Make some adjustments.
Yeah. You guys are gonna wrestle at Temecula, right? Next weekend?
Yeah, we'll be there with a squad.
Well, it'll be fun. I wonder how they're gonna seed Miguel, Bo, and Guffey.
I'm not sure if Bo will wrestle, to be honest.
Yeah.
He didn't wrestle at it last year. After he had won Doc B. After he had won Doc B last year, he didn't wrestle. Hopefully he does. I think that'd be freaking rad to see. So I guess we'll know in about 5 days, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
find out.
excited. I'm real excited.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I think just watching at home, it was there was a lot of good matches. Obviously, I think 4 or 5 ranked guys in the top 20. So I think this again was another loaded weight. Finals match. I think Mantanona is a guy you got to get your hands on a few times to kind of really feel, what it is that he brings to the table. Because it's a different thing, and the best guys in the country have seen it and felt it and paid the price. We saw that at the the Who's Number One with the Kasich kid, and he just does these things that are like, what the heck is he doing? I don't know. And I think the more times you get your hands on him, I think it's going to benefit benefit Colin in that sense. So I think it's good. Hopefully we get to see him a few more times.
Yeah, I think he has like such great length, and he just gets a little bit of an angle. And because of his length, he's able to just grab behind the knee and pull himself in. And then because he has really good fundamentals and good scrambling ability, he can kind of be creative in some of these positions, like what we saw at Who's Number One, where he's able to get a cradle on the edge of the mat.
No, it was a half. Was
it a half?
It was like a Blair half, and he ran it right over the top.
But he ran a far side half while he was on the opposite side of the box. Like he half from the far side. It was weird. It was so weird. Yeah,
I think wasn't the guy, if I remember correctly, wasn't the guy who was wrestling, wasn't he like thinking I feel like he stopped wrestling a little bit.
Yeah, like he was basically out of bounds, but
we're out of bounds, I can stop. And it's like, nah, this is college rules, hombre.
Yep.
Yeah. Con side of this bracket was pretty tough too. Obviously, this had a lot of guys in California that are probably going to be on the podium at the end of the year. You had Root from Poway coming in as the 4 seed, does place 4th. He gets upset in the quarters by Tathan Silva from Aurora Christian, tough kid out of Illinois, who's the 12 seed. Loses to him 6-4. Both of those two end up battling back to face again for 3rd, 4th, and then Silva still gets the best of Root in that match. But obviously solid job by Root. He ends up beating Weston Dalton from Pueblo East on the way. I watched that match. It actually looked like he broke Dalton straight up. Took him down, I think, twice with like low singles. So really impressive win there. And you have Leo Quintino from Buchanan at 6, Gavin Fernandez de La Salle 7, and Dylan Pyle from Los Gatos 8. So very heavily California right here, and it's going to be this weight at State's going to be fun. Quarterfinals for this weight at State is going to be just hammers. It's going to be awesome.
Lit.
It'll be lit, bro.
It's going to be so lit.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. 62s.
I haven't really watched too much of Nico Ruiz to have necessarily a good opinion on him. I know he's tough on the mat, and wrestles a pretty hard pace.
I think the best way to describe him, because I do enjoy watching him, is he doesn't make mistakes. He
Yeah,
doesn't make mistakes. He wrestles fundamentally sound every time he goes out there. He doesn't really take bad shots. He doesn't really make bad decisions. His in match decisions are always, feels like they're well calculated. He's just all around pretty tough. I mean, he's gonna take you down. He's gonna ride the crap out of you, try to get a turn. Posada from Poway, sophomore, returning state placer. He's real tough, real long, lanky kid. Won Reno a couple weeks ago. Gave him a good battle, but just didn't really have an answer for him.
I mean Ruiz damn near bonus his way through the tournament.
Yeah, yeah. He basically bonused his way through state last year. I think he had a 10-0 win in the finals of state as a junior. I'm just glad to see him wrestling. He had a pretty banged up knee after Super 32 where he was in the finals. So I had heard some rumors he wasn't going to wrestle this year, but it's good to see him wrestling. He's a ASU commit, so he'll be there next year. And I think he's kind of one of those guys that's going to just make an immediate impact there.
Yeah, I think he's a good fit. His style right now on the collegiate level, I think it's going to transition well.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm not super sure, but I think ASU's hurting right now, right around 165. So they could use a guy like him. So maybe help catapult them towards that podium finish at NCAs.
Yep.
Bray, is there anything that stuck out to you about this weight that you saw?
No, not really. Posada's tough. He's taken out a lot of guys here. He had a good Reno tournament. I think he bonused his way through there. McCown over Espinoza was a pretty good one because I think those guys are both. I want to say Espinoza was a state placer last year, but McCown wasn't. I could be wrong there.
Yeah, Espinoza placed.
Yeah,
he beat our guy in the round of 12.
Yeah, so that was a good win. I watched that match, McCown over Espinoza in the quarters. And then a couple
Which is 3 and 4 in the state, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, Ruiz is tough. I think he's got one loss in the last couple years. Or no, actually maybe he lost at who's number 1, but I'd take that back. Lost in the finals of Super 32, had a banged up knee. He was a Super 32 champ the year before. So yeah, I think he jumps right into college, has good success there. Wrestles really solid. Yeah, he's a good kid too. Seems like he has, good attitude, well level-headed.
Yeah. I watched Joe Buck beat is it Grace or Gracie, the freshman from Gilroy? It seemed like I can't remember if it was overtime or it basically came down to I think Gracie taking a bad shot or something and Buck was able to get a re-attack and score. But it was a contested match for sure. Joe Buck's pretty solid. I mean, it's going to be interesting, I think, to see how some of these other placings end up. Obviously, I think Ruiz is the number 1 guy at the state, but outside of that, I think it's Buck, it's Honey, it's Espinoza, it's McCown, it's all these guys. I mean, I don't know where exactly everything is going to fall outside of obviously who wins it.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously Ruiz leads the pack, but 2 through 6, 7 is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, 70. We got another lamer.
Another one.
Good too.
How do you pronounce? Is it Dashell? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Dashel.
I heard it's Dashel. Yeah.
Man, you got Legend. You have is it Brawley?
Yes.
Brawley lamer.
Chance.
He has he's got the worst name out of all of them. He's got the lamest lane of all the lamers.
No, this is a fun weight though. There's some obviously returning state placers, returning state finalists, a couple nationally ranked guys, some college commits, guys that are going to wrestle each other in for the next 5-6 years.
So I have an interesting thing about this weight. I'm watching the finals. I'm up on the stage. And I don't remember which one it was, but one of the Wicks is standing next to me. I want to say it was Evan, but I'm not
Is it the
100%.
taller one?
Well, I didn't see two of them, so I couldn't compare heights.
There's one that's like your height.
Oh, he was a lot taller than me.
That's
Okay.
probably Evan.
Yeah, I think it was Evan.
Yeah.
Who I started doing all the math in my head. Well, it's not really math, but I started doing the equations, I guess, in my head. He was clearly rooting for Lamer to win this match. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Lamer's a Cal Poly commit. Am I right?
Possibly.
I'm not
I'm
100%.
gonna assume.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
He is a Cal Poly commit.
Okay.
And Condon's a Wisconsin commit.
But Condon was once a Poly commit. And then I believe he reversed it and committed to Wisconsin.
Yep.
And so that's also where Wick was before he went to Cal Poly. So I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, you got the coach here who, or whatever, Gratis is, whatever he is, title wise, helping out at Cal Poly. He's got a kid that they recruited wrestling against a kid they once recruited, who is now going to go to a college that the coach was once at before he transferred to this new school, Cal Poly. It was just like my mind.
Drama.
It was,
Yeah, that's a funny one.
yeah, but it was cool. It was a really good match. Condon okay, this was interesting. I think it was 1-0 going to the third, and Condon chooses neutral. Doesn't want to go underneath.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting call. I mean, if you got a game plan, stick with it, I guess. Wanted to get the takedown. He gets to a really deep single leg shot, brings it up to his feet, doesn't get the finish, gets taken down, and then
Is that the one where he tried to like do like a wizard step over?
I don't know.
On the
No,
edge of the mat?
he had a single leg in the air, and what's his name? Lamer fought it down hard. As he kind of stomped his foot, he tried to throw a head and arm off of like the foot stomp, and then he just kind of slipped the head and arm and got I guess they didn't end up giving two. Maybe he scrambled out of it or something, but it was like 5 seconds left.
Yeah, this was the match where they were both wearing white singlets.
Yes, this was the one. It was white and silver.
Yeah, and then the mat wasn't white.
Black.
That was black.
Yeah.
Other than that, Condon versus Swan was a really good match.
You
Swan
think Swan goes down, or you think he stays at 70s? Because he's not really cutting a lot of weight, I don't think, for 70s right now.
you could definitely tell there was a size difference. I think Condon had the size over Swan.
I think he's gonna stay up. He doesn't want to. It's a who wants to wrestle Ruiz in the finals kind of deal, and I think he lost to him last year in the finals. So I think he's saying, hey, let's get big and try to win state.
I agree with Brady. I think he's got a better chance trying to beat Condon or Sergio Montoya, who didn't even wrestle at this tournament from Clovis North.
Apparently
Sergio's out, man.
He's banged up from he got hurt by Condon at Fargo in the training camp, and he hasn't wrestled since.
I thought he got hurt at Super 32. It might have been a pre-existing injury, and then he got hurt again at Super 32. But he wrestled at Zinken with a freaking like this grotesque tape job, and then this thick brace, and then was wrestling our guy, I think, in the quarters, and ends up just making it worse. And I talked to him the next day at a kids tournament, and he told me he's down. He's gonna have to get surgery, so he's out.
Oh wow,
he's not coming back.
So Swan 100% goes 70s.
Yeah.
That's sad to see. Sergio.
Yeah, Sergio's a good kid, but I think just talking to him, it's like, that's kind of why I'm always very like protective of our guys when we come back from injury. It's like, you don't like, who cares about winning these earlier tournaments, right? Like maybe, Sergio comes back towards the end of the year and feels good. But instead, you kind of wrestle in this earlier tournament and you just make it worse.
Right.
And now your whole season's gone, and now it takes away time that you could be getting ready for college.
Right.
But he's going to go to Oregon State. He's a good kid. I think he's going to do super well there.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of does a showdown for Swan and Condon in the state finals. So maybe Swan can make the adjustments and I just felt like Condon kind of bullied him around the mat in that semis match with the hand fight. And maybe it was because of the size as well. Swan's pretty long and he has a frame. So he's got 7 weeks or so to try to put on some extra size and mass. So we'll see. He's a good wrestler. There's no doubt about it. But that looks like without a Montoya in there, that's going to definitely probably be the state finals match.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they're kind of in a league of their own above Reyes. But Adrian Reyes, he, I want to say won, was it U15 Nationals, Freestyle Nationals, in April?
Yeah.
But he's a tough kid. He's just hard to score on. Sometimes has some questionable losses. I think he lost to McDonald, in the round of 16 of this tournament, and just watching him wrestle, just, I don't know. Sometimes he just makes weird decisions on the mat.
He lost to Condon. I watched it was a quarterfinal.
He lost to Condon.
Yeah. I was anticipating a pretty good match, and Condon got the best of him. He definitely beat him up a little bit.
Yeah.
9-1. But Condon surprised me. I think he was kind of my shocker of the tournament. Obviously, he had a chance to pull out in the finals, had a single leg elevated in the air to send it to overtime. But good tournament. All these guys are going to go to college, so we'll be interested to see how they do in the next few years.
Hey, how do you pronounce, that's your guy, right? Is it Boomenglag?
Boomenglag.
Boomenglag. It's a fun name.
82s.
So we have another DQ.
Yep. It's Bryce Thompson, number 1 wrestler in the country, or Braden, sorry, Thompson, number 1 in the country, Lockport, Illinois, gets DQ'd out of the quarters, down out of the tournament, does not medal.
Dude, there was a questionable call. I watched his match early on with Zinfel from Clovis North. He was defense, it looked like he was defensive fault. And the Clovis North kid's pretty strong. I think he's only a sophomore. But he was flat on his back for a good moment. And then it just wasn't getting called. And then he was able to fight off his back, obviously.
So I was not familiar with the is it Sinfel?
Sinfel, yeah.
They're brothers, right? They're twins.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, no. There's a younger one that's I can't remember.
You're talking about the other kids, Sean.
No, the Sinfel Clovis North. There's a 85 and a 97 pounder.
Oh,
There's
really?
two,
They have two sets then.
There's 2 of them, and they're freaking jacked. I have never seen these kids in my life. I walked in the gym and I was like, holy crap, that one's big. And it was the 85 pounder. And then right after him, the other one wrestles up at 195. And I was like, holy crap, they get bigger. That kid's huge. And yeah.
You know those eggshells or I forgot what they call them, but they're you open them up and there's a smaller one inside.
Yes, that's exactly what it was like. Oh, yeah, those kids are tough. Watch them wrestle a little bit this weekend. I was unfamiliar with them, but now I'll be watching. So Diego Costa from Ukaipa gets the DQ win, bumps him into the into the semis, where he runs into I think it was Rademacher. Rademacher.
We had a close win over Hodges in the quarters.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
Yeah, that kid's freaking good. Really good.
Are you talking about the semis or the quarters?
The quarters between Hodges and Rademacher.
Dude, Hodges is so tall.
He's tough.
He's tall.
And tall.
He's tough and tall. Dude, that could be the name of a new clothing store.
Tough and tall. No, that was a good quarterfinal match. I watched that. I was kind of pulling for Hodges there. But I don't know. Montero got kind of had a close match there. Montero beat up Hodges, if I'm mistaken, at Zinken, right, in the finals.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was a major decision or not. I think he might have actually even gotten taken down in that match. But Montero had his number. And then they had a close semifinals where I think McDonald actually got a takedown as well in that match. I talked to Matt Montero, Ty's dad, a little bit today, just at the kids youth tournament, And, I think part of what, was going on in Ty's mind a little bit is just, maybe he was a little bit tired, and I think for me, like, and maybe you guys can add to this, like after you win that semis match, like go, like get out of the gym, like go find like a quiet spot, go rehydrate, go eat something, go take a nap and rest up.
For
And
sure.
I think maybe Ty was getting a little bit caught up in just what was going on in the tournament and stuff like that.
No, that was a good semi between McDonald and Montero. I watched that one. It was back and forth. It was a good one. Obviously, what Montero's commit to Stanford. What is McDonald? OU? So you want to gonna be a Sooner?
Yeah, I mean his the Thomas brothers, Jeremy and what's the
Justin.
other one's name?
Justin.
Justin. They have their own club. It's called the Orange County Wrestling Club, I think. And then they're helping out at Fountain Valley too.
Yeah. So that's
the old Santiago is like the new Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
Dude, those guys, I don't know if you saw them, Sean, dude. They were rocking these like cool shades inside the building. They had the drip, man. They were dripping hard.
We should get them on here one time.
Let's do it.
I talked to Jeremy today. Because one, his brother wrestled one of our kids, so we were talking a little bit. But yeah, I'll DM him.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Would we have him as a guest or will we interview him?
Both.
Yeah.
Both? We'll have like a 2-hour episode.
Sure.
I could be wrong. I want to say they have oh gosh, what's the guy? He was a Woodley, Jacob Woodley. I want to say he's helping out there too. He was a
really?
alum.
Oh yeah, he was like a blood rounds, maybe a guy.
A national finalist.
Oh, that's right. He was the
he was the dark horse when he lost to Nino, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The evolution of 197 is crazy.
At Super 32. I saw him out there coaching with the Thomas brothers, obviously coaching McDonald and a couple other guys they have from there. But no, this is a fun weight. They got obviously Sooner commit. We got a Stanford commit. We got a Oregon State commit. Costa, I don't think's committed, but he's tough.
Yeah, he's gonna go somewhere. He's a junior.
Where's Munoz going?
I don't know Munoz. I know. So we got
Munoz isn't committed yet, at least not per the state rankings.
Rademacher's going to Oregon State.
Yeah, Oregon State.
Someone who wasn't in this weight but is now number 2 in the state is Thomas Sandoval from Vacaville.
Yeah.
They were out at the Clash.
He beat Montero in the dual 5-2 like last week or the week before. So he bumped up to 2. So I don't know where state rankings go from here. I don't know if you make Sandoval the 1, Montero the 2, and McDonald.
I think you make Montero the 1.
But he lost to Sandoval.
He lost to Sandoval, but if you look at body of work, I mean, I guess they've all kind of beaten each other, but Montero has 2 wins over McDonald.
Yeah.
They're going to put Sandoval at 1.
I think Sandoval's going to go to 1. Who Sandoval has a loss to Hodges from Clovis, who Hodges has a loss to Montero from Bakersfield. So this is way
I think you put Montero 1 and then Vacaville 2.
1. Yeah.
Because, I mean, who's been going to tougher tournaments? Who has a heavier body of work? Who's a returning state finalist? I mean, I think you put all that stuff into the faction, into the factors. You have Montero at 1.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's going to be juicy no matter what. Should be a fun weight.
Yeah, and it's going to change still. It's going to change because you got I don't know what Bakersfield's schedule is, but I'm sure like Vacaville is probably going to wrestle at maybe Mid-Cals, and I think there's another tough tournament. But actually, these guys might not even see each other.
Well, Montero and Hodges should see each other.
They'll see each other. Yeah, they'll see each other at Valley and at Masters. But we're not. I mean, McDonald and
I think if I'm not wrong, I want to say Fountain Valley goes to 5 counties.
Yeah, because it's
I don't believe Vacaville or anyone else does.
Yeah. And then they don't go to Mid-Cals, and Vacaville might go to Mid-Cals. I think there's also a tournament. I think it's the Tim Brown. I'm not sure if it's the same weekend. But they might not go to that. Like, these guys might not wrestle each other again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you put Montero at the 1,
I agree.
McDonald at 3, and Vacaville at 2.
We're gonna find out here next week or the
I
next
guess we'll find out.
Thursday.
95, 90, yeah, 95s, 90, whatever it is.
198.
Do you refer to the weight as it is, or do you add the allowance?
I try to keep it with the scratch.
Same, but because it's in front of me and I'm reading, I'm saying it with the allowance.
Okay.
But normally it would be without the allowance.
Normally. Actually kind of a lighter weight.
Yeah.
This is around a 32. But we have the Bergen Catholic guy at 1, and I think he had some close matches, obviously on paper on his route to the finals. The 2 seed from where is that? Nevada. Melvin Whitehead the third. Lost to a kid from Brawley. Brawley, is that San Diego?
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. Platt is a tough dude. He was a round of 12er at state last year. He's got a super long, lanky frame. Basically, think about like a long 52 pounder, but put him at 198. You know, he wrestles from a knee. He's like pawing at your face, and but he's a 98 pounder, so he's fun to watch.
Pretty athletic for a 98 pounder.
Super athletic. Good kid. I like him a lot. He always says what's up at tournaments, and he's always down to chat. So yeah, I like him. Happy he got that win. I want to say Whitehead's ranked in the nation. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I read an article that said he was by some ranking organization. I do not know which one, but that's a solid win. And then falls to 10-3 to Ayala from St. John Bosco, who goes on to win it. That finals match was insane. That was a really
good one. Hey, shout out to my boy Will Knowles, aka the Tank. He's helping out at St. John Bosco now.
Dude, he was running around all weekend. I didn't even get a chance to say what's up to him, but he was dude, he's getting the crowd fired up. The St. John Bosco crowd always, comes out to support.
He's got the big boys on lock right now.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Tank Knowles from Calvary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's finally committed to a team, and then that team is Bosco, where before he was kind of just doing his kind of solo private kind of thing, just helping guys. But he's found a nice fit there, and they've obviously have some good success. They got some good upper weights. They got two finalists, back to back, and then I think they had.
The thing about Ayala is if you look at his path, he had decisions every single match.
Yeah.
Knows how to win. Knows how to win when it matters.
Yep.
He also had like some neck tape going on.
I think it was a brace.
Was it? I couldn't tell. It didn't look like it was very thick, but it was definitely apparent. It was something that was on him. So
was it KT tape?
It didn't look like KT tape, but it was maybe an inch and a half thick all the way around his neck. I don't know.
It looked from video perspective like a neck. You guys remember Grant Leith? He's a Stanford coach now from Missouri.
Yeah.
It didn't look like that thick of a one, but
no.
It looked a little bit similar to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could have been something as simple as tape, but
it could have been tape. I don't know.
I don't know how you wrestle with that brace on or what exactly it's able to do.
It's not. It's just you just got to do it.
It's just a cool ornament.
I think. Side note, like Leith, when he did that, because he like broke his neck, I think, or his back or something, or something up there, and he wore it at first, and then he obviously was way better, 2 or 3 years later. I think I could be butchering the story, but someone interviewed him like after and was like, "Hey, why do you still wear the neck brace?" And he's like, nah, "It's just my thing now. Like, it's me."
You think he wears it in the Stanford room? Puts it on when he's scrapping.
Maybe on certain days. I don't know. You'd have to maybe get a day.
You try to play.
That's a good guy to get on. That's a good guy to get on the podcast. New young assistant coach.
We've chatted on the Twitter before. I'll hit him up.
Yeah, tell him. He's going to be coaching Guffey. Be like, hey,
and
come on our pod.
Yeah,
and Aiden Valencia.
Mm-hmm. And Montero.
Boom.
Let's get them
all these guys we know. Well, I don't know Aiden, but all these guys.
Let's get to these next two weights here.
220s.
320s, big boys. Dude, this was probably my favorite person to watch this weekend. This Jersey Rob guy from Bigsby is
How can you not like that name though?
Dude, that's an office name.
he's cool. He's freaking cool.
That's an
And
office name.
I didn't talk to the guy, but he's just cool because of the way he wrestles. He just goes out there, lets it fly. Like he was doing all kinds of fun stuff. And Nicholas Sahakian is a stud, obviously from St. John Bosco. He's a giant, and Jersey Rob's he's good. He's really good.
Yeah, Oklahoma State got a good one. He's gonna be tough.
How old is he?
I want to say senior.
I want to say he's a senior. He could be a junior. Could be wrong.
I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not 100%.
I was
But
gonna try to do some math in my head because there's a character in I want to say The Office that's called Jersey Rob. Do you guys watch The Office?
yeah, love it. But I don't think.
You know what I'm talking about? It's
Yeah.
like the guy that's in the acapella group that Andy's in. It's all right. I make like movie and show references all the time to people, and I have to like remember that not everybody watches stuff like that. So I have to chill a little bit. So I'll just shut up.
He is ranked 8th in the country at 215 for Matt Scout. So
Where's he going to college?
Does it say his grade? Does
What's
it
that?
say his grade on there?
Oh, yeah, he does.
I was trying to pull it up.
He is a senior.
Yeah.
One of the, I think, quarterfinal match, we have Azuna and Campbell. I want to say Azuna is ranked 3rd, or he was ranked 2nd or 3rd in state. I think Campbell might be ranked like one above him.
Well, I shouldn't say that was a fun match. It was kind of boring match. It was like three or four stall calls. Literally made it go to overtime. And that's down in overtime. Yeah. You got to go back and watch it. The coaches and chirping and the fans and everything was pretty funny. I happened to be watching it, and oh man, I don't agree with some of the stall calls, but I think Campbell got called twice for like he was being a little bit over aggressive, kind of, controlling the center, and kind of pushed him out of bounds to show the ref like, hey, I'm controlling the center. And it backfired 2 times. The ref called like him pushing out of bounds. I think that tied the matchup with like under 30 seconds left and sent it to overtime. And then he finally gets a takedown.
I think one of my complaints is how, there were a couple refs that were calling stall calls like college. And I understand, like just the trickle down effect. And I know a lot of these refs actually ref college. But the way that the stalling is being interpreted at the high school level, I don't think like if there's like legit pushing, or like if I have an underhook, then like I'll just give you the example. Like my gripe is we had a guy that was in a kind of a close match against somebody that was tough, and they got an underhook and were basically trying to walk us out of bounds. And our guy actually tried to go down to a knee and try to ground himself like freestyle, and he still gets pushed out of bounds, so we get dinged for stalling. And it's like, dude, that's not the right call. Like the way that's called in college, even, it's like if I take a shot and I shoot him out of bounds, a lot of times that's not called stalling either. It's I take a shot and I shoot up to my feet and we keep backing out of bounds, then that's kind of where that stall comes in.
Yeah.
I saw it a few times this weekend when it wasn't the best call to make, and I agree, but it's hard to argue a judgment call.
Heavies. Let's get to it. This is a fun one.
All right, so we had Herrera was the 2 seed, return state champ, committed to Iowa, and then Mesa Ridge. Actually, I don't know too much about this guy. Do we know his age? Do we know where he's committed?
So Daniel Herrera's Iowa State commit.
Is it Iowa? Yeah, Iowa State. You're right.
Ranked 14th 14th in the nation. He's a junior. Moore, who's ranked 5th in the nation. He's a senior going to Nebraska. Nebraska loves their Colorado kids because they're also getting Weston Dalton down at 52s. I personally, Moore placed at, I want to say he placed at Ironman. He placed at Super 32. I think he took 3rd at Super 32. This was a finals match I was really anticipating to be really good. Our head coach Jesse was like, dude, this is gonna be the best match. Like he was all geared up. He's a big heavyweight.
Jesse's hyped.
And freaking Herrera snaps him down, hits a go behind, and we kind of both look at each other like, what? Like, did that just happen? And then, quickly after, Herrera's just pinning him. And we're like, wow, like I mean,
you missed it.
I missed what?
So he got the takedown. The other guy got an escape, and then
The guy tried to throw him.
he tried to throw him.
Yeah. But it was Moore gets the key lock off of a 2-on-1, pushes in. Herrera's backing up because he's like, I'm not going to push into you with a key lock. So then Moore's like, okay, if you're not going to push in, then I'm going to try to throw you, and goes straight to his back and gets pinned. It was such a weird,
Silly high school thing.
it wasn't
Well,
needed.
I could be wrong. I've never. Shame on me for now. I've never watched this kid, but I think he took second at Ironman. I mean, he's got some good results, but
Third at Super 32.
apparently he's really good with an overhook.
Match from him.
Apparently he's really, really good with that overhook that he tried to throw with. And I guess Herrera's a little maybe tall. I mean, they both seem super tall to me. Yeah, because I heard the announcer say, like, in the semis, I think in the quarters, he would get an overhook and everyone would just run out of bounds with the overhook. Everyone would literally just back out. So, I mean, that he's got to be dangerous there, but obviously it didn't pay off.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looked like I hate to say it, but it looked a little JV-ish because he went literally straight to his back, and there was no counter pressure from Herrera. So I was like, what are we doing? I was looking forward to this match, and I mean, good for Herrera, gets the fall, two-time champ, but yeah, I mean, he'll get a good bump in the rankings and a well-deserved win.
Who else is going to get a good bump in the rankings is Zach Lamone from Clovis. Lamone actually wrestled for Elite Forces from Bakersfield, and his dad got a job in Clovis. And it's funny, actually, when he was in 8th grade, I would go and I would help out at the Bakersfield RTC that was at CCB. And I remember kind of rolling around with him. He told me that, his dad was thinking about taking a job up there in Clovis. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, dude, that's cool. Like, what a great opportunity. But what's interesting, if he would have stayed in Bakersfield, I would have been coaching him right now.
Yeah. True that.
So it's funny. But he had a big win over Hinojosa, and then had a close match with Herrera in the semis.
Yeah, this weight featured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure if was Sawaya from Valencia there. I'm not sure if he was or not, but anyways, top 5 at least in the state. And there will definitely be some shakeups. Lamone will be a guaranteed 2. That match with Herrera was a pretty good semis. If you haven't watched it, go check it out.
Well, I mean, all this stuff could still shake up. I mean, Dansby, Morales, Lamone, and then Stanley from BHS. They're all going to be wrestling each other at Valley and at Masters. So,
yep,
it's gonna be fun.
Be
actually, I don't know if Lamore. I think Lamore might be in Division 2. I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually,
well, yeah,
I have to double check.
Dansby and Lamone will wrestle for sure, at least 3 times.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that duel? Isn't that coming up like in a week or so?
The duel.
Will Clovis Buchanan?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a fun one. I think there's going to be probably some gamesmanship that goes on. But I don't know. I think Buchanan's probably going to run away with it.
Yeah,
I agree.
We can do a breakdown of that when we get. Oh, when is that? Is that next week?
I want to say it's like within the next 2 weeks for sure. And then
I'll have to look it up. Maybe do a preview for that.
Is Buchanan dueling Poway this year? I heard they were, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, I thought Buchanan is going to go down to Poway for that one.
That's what I thought. I just haven't seen a date or anything, posted about it. But
yeah, they're definitely doing.
Let's see.
They're definitely doing. I just got to find out when.
Sean, we might have to make a trip out there to that one. if
Oh,
we're
actually, you know where we're gonna be? We're gonna miss it. You know where we're gonna be?
Holtville.
Yeah. Well, I won't. I'll be
It's
sailing.
January 28th.
I'll be
Yeah.
sailing the open seas, but I think
Where are you going?
Brady will be home with his newborn child, and I will be sailing the open seas.
We will see. But that weekend, yeah, we do have
Open
Holtville. So
siege.
The open siege. Yes, Ryan. And this concludes our Doc B post tournament breakdown. Great job, Clovis, hosting another great tournament. 45th annual. Can't wait for 46. We'll see how many teams return and how many new nationally ranked teams come out. Don't know how we can change the rules about wrestling against some of the prep schools in the nation, but I think we deserve to wrestle them because I think we could beat a lot of them, and we just aren't able to show that talent. So hopefully that changes in the future, but would be really cool to get Blair or someone similar out to wrestle.
Yeah. Hey, if you're watching this and you made it this far, if you haven't liked yet, like and subscribe. And then we didn't talk about this beforehand, but hey, I kind of want to start doing like fan comments, like ask us a question, because we know so much about stuff. And if you have some thoughts or have some questions, leave a comment down there. Sean,
Yeah.
I think you're underneath. Point down. Point down. Leave a comment below. Like and subscribe and leave a comment. What you think?
And share it. Share it on
And
Instagram. Share it on Twitter.
Share your friends. Tell your friends. Bring a friend next time. Watch it with a friend.
Yeah.
Tell when it'd be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. You tell your lady, I have to go to the bathroom. And then you go to the bathroom and you pull us up on YouTube and you watch it.
There you go.
That's one way to do it.
Wash your hands though. Make sure you can follow all compliance laws, even in the bathroom.
I say we get some guests on here next episode.
What did we talk about today? We talked about the Thomas brothers who are helping out at Fountain Valley. We talked about Grant Leith. We talked about Take Knowles, who's helping out at St. John Bosco. Dude, that'd be great.
I know we gotta get Riley Orozco on here too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, we'll get him, no doubt.
So we need to talk. We have like guests, or we're interviewing them, because if we do it together, I'm fine. I'll do a 2-hour episode. I'm down. I can talk all day.
It just depends. I think with guys like some of the ones we mentioned, it's good to do an interview, and then maybe we pull them back on later at another date and break things down. Would be fun.
What if we just I just send out the meeting ID to a bunch of people at once, and then just whoever shows up.
Have a free for all.
I'm down.
Free for all.
Let's do it.
Free for all. Everybody talk.
Yeah. I'm down.
All right, guys. Well, this was fun, and I want to stop talking to you guys now. So let's hope you guys have a good week. We'll see. I'll see you. Well, Brady, are you gonna be there this weekend? Probably not, right?
We'll see.
It's his due date.
It's not that far from your house.
He's not showing up, dude.
It's not that far. So, but we'll see. The wife's pretty close right now.
Well, I have you. I'm predicting it right now. I'm gonna say
no. If no Mantanona.
No, I'm not talking about wrestling. Shut up, Brian.
Okay,
talking about Brady's child.
Shutting up.
The 15th. I'm gonna say at 3 a.m. No, 4:30 a.m. And it's gonna be 8.5 pounds. It's on video.
I'm gonna say the under on this one. Under 8.5 pounds, and it's gonna be before the weekend.
Your prediction's more likely, Brian. What do you think about? Sean said the 15th.
1 day over.
1 day over. I don't think it's gonna happen.
And Brian said before the weekend.
I had to go with the over because some of the kids took the under, so I'm going.
Hey, you want to bet a burrito, Sean?
Burrito bet.
I still owe him a burrito.
Is it going to be before or after the 14th? That's the burrito bet.
We're going to be accumulating a lot of burrito debt, man. You owe me a burrito, sucker. Hey, I'm going to text you Friday, and you better bring me. And since we're in kind of your neck of the woods, you bring me a burrito from your favorite spot.
Pick up one and bring it on the way up, Sean. That's
Or hey, you know what? We're going to that. I think we're going to take some kids to that kids tournament. You could just ask Nuke and see if you guys want to let me in, stay in your spare bedroom, because it's close to your house, right?
No,
It's what, like a
45
45-minute drive?
like an hour.
Like an hour? Okay,
Hey,
maybe I'll just
Sean,
hang out with Everett then.
Remember those breakfast burritos we got last year? Go to
Yeah.
that place. Those were pretty fire.
Those were good. Those were good.
I want the heat, man. Bring the
All right.
fire.
All right, wait, real quick, last thing, and then we're shutting
All
up.
right, last thing.
8.5 pounds. Brian, you get the over or the under. I take the opposite. Winner gets a burrito.
I already said the under.
All right, deal.
Let's do a parlay. So you say it's gonna be the 15th. So you're taking later than the 15th.
Yeah.
I'm
you
taking the under. So over
right.
15. Yeah.
Well, the due date is the 14th, so the
What
under.
if you guys tie? What if one person wins the weight and one person wins the date?
There's nothing.
Then it's a wash.
We'll win both.
You got to sweep. All
So
right.
I say
No.
before the 14th.
No, I
You
have
say
it.
after the 14th.
Brian, AM or PM?
AM to the PM AM funk.
AM or PM?
That's a good gas station.
I prefer 7-Eleven.
I like
Pick it.
Arco.
I'm taking the AM. You get the PM. That's
right.
that's the settler.
It's written. It's recorded. It's in here. Burrito bet. Make it happen.
Boom.
Oh, hey, last thing. I was listening to I think it was Piles. I want to say it was Piles, but he was commenting. No, it wasn't Piles. It was Shane Sparks. We'll have to @ Shane Sparks on this. But he talks about the amount of tools that I think Ramos has in his arsenal, and he said toolbox.
Toolbox.
So I'll send you the link, but he says toolbox.
It is definitely a toolbox. Sean is a tool for thinking it's a tool bucket.
Tool bucket,
You're
baby.
a tool bag is what you are, Sean.
Tool bucket.
You're a tool bag, bro.
That's funny. No, but if you made it this far, like and comment, share our stuff. We got some more stuff coming for you.
Channel. Hey, last thing.
Shut
we need to
up.
do when are we gonna do a merch drop?
Oh yeah.
We could do some.
All
Drop
day.
some merch.
Funky All Day meets Simple Man podcast.
Let's do it.
How about
Collab.
we go like Simple Man Wrestling Podcast on the back, #Funky All Day.
I love it.
We could design something.
I love it. We
Okay.
can do
Good. Let's
We
shoot
can
some
do
ideas
granite.
around.
granite
All right.
/ frontier colors.
All
There
right,
you
last
go.
thing.
Last thing is good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have
Good
a good-
night.
have a great week.
See you
Have
guys.
a great week. Good night.